You have seen the signs around you. The gradual creeping, decay, and dysfunction. You have realized that something is wrong with the media and the people around you. You know that you are different. This is why you are ready to become a receiver.
Receiver 2 is not a game. It may look like one, play like one, and yes, you can buy it on Steam, but like many things in life, there's more beneath the surface. So what is it? It's a simulation, a test, a lesson, but most importantly, a warning. Plenty of media toys with meta themes or breaks the fourth wall. It's a pretty common trope these days. But Receiver 2 only does so to give you a message. There's no comedy, no real horror. Just a simple game. A game that insists it is not a game. And frankly, I believe it. If you've never heard of Receiver 2, you're certainly not alone. According to SteamDB, the game only ever peaked around 1,000 players, which, in my opinion, is an absolute tragedy. Its predecessor, Receiver, was originally created by Wolfire Games for a 7-day FPS game jam back in 2012. Then, in 2020, almost out of nowhere, Wolfire released a sequel, Receiver 2. It kept the core mechanics of the original, but introduced a new voice actor, improved visuals, and a level of polish the first game never had. It's everything Receiver was trying to be and more, and honestly, it's one of the best games I've ever played. Receiver 2 doesn't want you to win, not in the traditional sense. It isn't unfair, though it is unforgiving. What it wants is to train you to be mindful. It's a test of your nerves, a rewiring of your instincts, and a challenge to your perception of reality itself. The hyper-realistic firearm mechanics are what likely first grab your attention. Everything from loading magazines manually to every part of the gun being modeled. However, this is not the core of the experience. Instead, it serves a higher purpose: to encourage mindfulness, enforce discipline, and immerse you in the game's intriguing worldview. Receiver 2 isn't just played, it's internalized. But while we're on the topic, let's start with the fun part. When you start Receiver 2, the first thing you'll notice is how intricate the gunplay is. In most shooters, reloading is just a button tap. Fast, clean, and automatic. In Receiver 2, every step matters. If you're using a semi-automatic, you don't just reload. You load each round into the magazine, insert the magazine, rack the slide, disengage the safety, maybe even check the chamber just to be sure. If you don't, for sake of time or just pure carelessness, the threat might take advantage of your oversight. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The point is, you must be present for everything you do with your firearm, because it is not a toy. Disrespecting it can have serious consequences. Leave your 1911 off safe, or holster your revolver with the hammer still cocked, you might just shoot yourself in the leg. Receiver 2 doesn't forgive carelessness. As they are in real life, guns in Receiver 2 are just as dangerous to you as they are your enemies. Therefore, you must treat them with respect and caution. Receiver 2 forces you to slow down, stay present, and internalize every motion. Because in this simulation, there's no separation between mindfulness and survival.
Cooper's third rule of gun safety is to keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on the target. There are many physiological reactions that can cause your hand to tighten involuntarily. If your finger is on the trigger and you're surprised or stumble or tighten the other hand, the gun will fire and make a hole in whatever it's pointed at. This is especially important when drawing or holstering. Like takeoffs and landings in aircraft, this is when most accidents occur. If your attention wanders for a second and you try to holster your gun without removing your finger from the trigger, you will shoot yourself in the leg. If you're trying to draw quickly, you can easily grab the trigger and shoot yourself in the leg.
Did you know the earliest recorded use of gunpowder-based weaponry dates back to 10th century China? The first versions weren't much more than dangerously spicy fireworks, packed with shrapnel instead of pretty colors. It's important to remember this. From their very inception, firearms have been tools of destruction. Over centuries, they've evolved with us. But one thing has never changed. Guns are made to kill. So what are we meant to kill in Receiver 2? Well, nothing. There are no people, no animals, nothing alive. The only enemies are cold, mechanical drones, each built with a single purpose: to eliminate you. Receiver 2 doesn't glorify killing, it justifies it. Where most shooters trivialize violence, admittedly in fun and entertaining ways, Receiver 2 removes the question entirely. It doesn't want you to hesitate. It wants you to survive. When something or someone has unquestionable intent to end your life, there's no moral ambiguity, only action. In that way, Receiver 2 lifts a heavy burden. There's no ethical dilemma, no uncertainty of intent, only self-defense. When something is trying to kill you, you don't pause to ask whether survival is justified. You just act, if you're able to. Receiver 2 never clearly states what the threat is. You're only ever told a few things. It can manifest drones in the in-game world known as the Dreaming. It can manipulate the media. And it can weaponize your uncertainty. But the game insists on one thing. The threat is real. Not just in game, but across all of reality. So how do you protect yourself? Through the development of your mind tech. A set of strategies to strengthen your mind and resist the threat's attacks. While the game gives these techniques mystical names, they never give them any game mechanic. That's because, put simply, they're your mental health. It's not about the game, it's about you. Checking how much time you spend online, paying attention to how you speak to yourself, practicing mindfulness, learning how to process trauma and stand up again when you fall. Every coping mechanism you've ever built is a form of mind tech. This is how you defend yourself against the psychological attacks of the threat. Your weapon is how you fight its physical forms. Both are equally dangerous.
I leave my car to Claire. It has the service light on, but it runs okay. I hope it helps you more than I ever did. Whatever's left in my bank account can go to my dad. He can decide what to do with it. To whoever finds this, just put my body in the trash. It's where I belong.
The threat is real. But if you don't believe me, at least take this advice. Check up on your friends. And really listen to them. The threat's motivation is never made clear. But its plan is to initiate something called the mind kill. The game is vague about what the mind kill actually is, only that it's already happened. And you're playing the game in its aftermath. The scattered tapes left behind by a previous receiver are meant to prepare you. Your mind tech, your focus, and your proficiency with self-defense, they must all be refined to their peak. Only then do you stand a chance. Despite the cryptic language, the threat, mind tech, mind kill, these ideas are not fantasy. They're not hidden behind allegory. They're obvious, uncomfortably so. The threat is whatever you perceive as a danger to your life. Whether it's an armed assailant or the slow, suffocating creep of a negative mental state. Mind tech is how you protect yourself from psychological damage, often inflicted through media and people around you. Your firearm is how you defend yourself from more immediate, tangible threats. The mind kill is another matter and deserves its own section.
Most receivers are initially skeptical about the existence of the threat. This is a good sign. A receiver should maintain a healthy mental immune system that consistently questions the evidence for all beliefs, both old and new. A receiver never maintains a belief just because it's the first one they've heard or because it's the culture they were born into. However, in this case, the appropriate behavior is the same, whether you believe in the literal existence of the threat or not. If it doesn't exist, you will have strengthened your mind and trained your body for nothing. But aren't those goals inherently worthy? In this case, the means of defeating the threat are valid ends in and of themselves.
You'd expect something with a name like the Mind Kill to be an endgame boss or some special attack. The kind of thing you'd find in a typical video game. But you never encounter it directly in Receiver 2. You only hear it described in various cassette tapes scattered throughout the game, warnings left behind by the previous receiver. The Mind Kill is a condition where people lose their ability to resist the threat. Only those with strong enough mind tech stand a chance. It's a global psychological collapse, one that severs the mind-body link. A catastrophe you never saw coming. It sounds like science fiction, but it feels familiar. The mind kill isn't a sudden calamity, it's an erosion, a slow, insidious disconnection between what you do and who you are. Bodies move, but minds are idle. Most people live half awake, working jobs they hate, consuming media on autopilot, ignoring their bodies, forgetting their minds. We drift through routines designed to dull us, to survive, to perform, to stay distracted. All while the threat whispers that comfort is peace, that numbness is safety, and there's no point in resisting. Every compromise you make, every moment you look away, becomes a piece of you, until you forget who you were before the silence, like falling into the sky. Even though the game never changes, the same tile sets, same tapes, you do. Every time you return, you leave with something new, a thought, a realization, a reminder to pay attention. The game never forces the connection. It doesn't explain the mind kill. It teases it. It waits, because it wants you to recognize it for yourself. Receiver 2 doesn't expand outward. It digs inward. It makes you notice things about your own life, your routines, your mental patterns, the places where you've stopped resisting. The mind kill isn't some climactic battle. It's a slow erosion. And the only way to fight it is to notice it's already happening. Honestly, I think it's easier to recognize now than in 2012 when Receiver 1 came out. Easier still in 2020 when Receiver 2 released. Because now, we're living in it. The news is noise, half-truths at best, weaponized narratives at worst. Social media sells us false realities wrapped in outrage and dopamine, offering the illusion of connection while pulling us further from ourselves. You're always missing out, or missing something, or maybe just too distracted. We all have opinions, but who among you has peace? Maybe you did once. Maybe it sleeps soundly in fond memories of simpler times, but you traded it for productivity, for distraction, for survival. And you don't even remember when it happened. The threat doesn't ask for permission. It waits. Until the silence feels safer than the truth. Until the world starts burning and all you can do is like and share. Until you forget what it felt like to be alive. That's how it wins. Not through force, through fatigue. If the mind kill has already begun, then recognizing it, really seeing it, is the first act of resistance. You can't fight what you can't name. You can't heal what you won't face. And if you can feel the weight, if you can feel that ache, then you are not broken. You're awake. Thank you for watching. This is my first video ever, so please tear it apart and tell me how to be better. If you liked it, please consider the classic like and subscribe. Beyond that, I highly recommend you play this game. However, keep in mind, Receiver 2 doesn't offer any answers. It doesn't fix anything, but it taught me to pay attention to my thoughts, my body, my patterns. It didn't save me, but it showed me how to start saving myself. One room, one round, one tape at a time.